The Toronto Raptors coaching search has been a long and drawn out process, but if these reports are true, it might about to be over. So in today's video, we look at all of the recent updates and try and figure out who are the Raptors really going to hire. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody to Amateur Hour Sports. This is the YouTube channel dedicated to Toronto Raptors content in videos, live streams, and shorts. If you like what you see from today's video and you want to see more content like this all throughout the NBA offseason, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you can help me on my road to 15,000 subscribers. Don't be afraid as well to drop a like if you find yourself enjoying along the way, and hit that notification bell so you know exactly when these videos are coming out. But the Raptors coaching search, it's been a while. We've had to be patient. We've had to be very patient as it comes to the rumors and reports or lack thereof, but it really feels as though the coaching search could be nearly over here, and that an announcement about who is going to be the next Toronto Raptors head coach could be imminent. There are a bunch of reports coming out about the Toronto Raptors right now, and it's been a difficult situation trying to piece together all of the information going on around the team, but I feel like there's enough credible reporters around the NBA universe who have just leaked little bits of information, and using all those little bits of information, perhaps we can piece together the entire puzzle to try and figure out who the Raptors are really looking for as the replacement for Nick Nurse in the head coaching position. There's a number of candidates that we've seen have been interviewed. There's been a number of candidates as well that have upset some Raptors fans, that even Masai Ujiri front office would waste time even talking to those people, but we can maybe at this point whittle it down to a set group of people and perhaps a set group of exactly what the Raptors are going to be looking for with their head coach. What type of coach are they going to be looking for? There's been reports from Mark Stein, there's been reports from various ESPN reporters and more, which I think can give some credible information into this entire situation. So let's start to break it down. When Nick Nurse was replaced as head coach, Masai Ujiri indicated that what they want from the next head coach would be somebody with a little bit more focus on development and also somebody who could completely change the culture within the team. But based on the type of candidates that they have been speaking to, we've seen JJ Redick, we've seen Steve Nash, now there's reports of some other people involved here, but overall I get the sense that they're also looking for a much more tactical coach from an offensive standpoint. Very contrary to what Nick Nurse really brought to this team. The X's and O's, that wasn't really Nick Nurse's strong suit, so a little bit of a focus, or a little bit of a bigger focus necessarily, on how we're going to work on the half-court offense seems to be also within the priorities of the Toronto Raptors management staff in picking their next head coach. And a recent report from Toronto Star reporter Doug Smith indicated that the Raptors have whittled down their search to a set group of finalists that they are going to be considering for the position. So that was a little bit contrary to my beliefs. I didn't think we'd ever find out if the Raptors had that set group of finalists. I mean, the Raptors obviously were going to come up with their finalists. I just thought we wouldn't know about it. What I was right about is that we still don't know who that set group of finalists are. But based on what we're getting from these leaked sources of information, based on what we're seeing all over reports, all over the news from these credible reporters, I think that we can really fine-tune it down to this group of people who are being considered for the position. I could be wrong, but I really feel as though Steve Nash is within the last few people being considered. I really feel as though former Raptors assistant Sergio Scariolo is being considered for the position. And I really feel as though Jordi Fernandez of the Sacramento Kings, who is the current associate head coach over there, also interviewed for the Suns position, I have a sneaking suspicion that not only is he in the group of finalists, that he is actually the leading candidate of those finalists. So let's learn a little bit about Scariolo and Fernandez and what they could bring to this current Toronto Raptors team. We spoke about all these different coaching candidates on this channel, but never specifically have we talked about Scariolo or Fernandez. Raptors fans know a little bit about the Italian coach Sergio Scariolo, who is actually the current head coach of a team in Bologna in Italy, but he's also the national team head coach of Spain. He's had a wealth of experience across many dimensions of basketball, coaching in Europe, but also coaching as an assistant with the Toronto Raptors, and was part of the coaching staff that helped lead the Toronto Raptors to that 2019 NBA championship. But based on his experience coaching in Europe with the national team and at the club level, basketball is very different over there. Basketball played in Europe contrasts very heavily to what you see in the NBA. The modern NBA, not wrongfully, it's fine that it's like this, but the modern NBA is very much dominated by athletics. the athleticism that players possess. Now, there's a few tacticians here and there that are important to the team, but very much your athletic ability does dominate the way that you play basketball in 2023. Players are often drafted with raw basketball skills and talent, but who possess that gift of athleticism, and you hope they figure out those certain basketball skills along the way. And for these people who have a little bit of an advantage with those athletics over other players, maybe they don't need to be as sharp from a basketball standpoint right away and can figure out things as they go along. Whereas in Europe, well, it's almost the opposite. It's very, very much dominated by a tactical approach by the X's and O's that a coach can bring to your team. And Scariolo, who has all that wealth of resources, all the wealth of experience coaching in all these different countries, whether it's Italy, whether it's Russia, whether it's Spain, etc., since he has all of these great experiences, he has all these great tactical mindsets on how the Raptors can maybe reinvigorate their offense, how they can change their offense for these upcoming years to get us back to a point where we're much happier with the offensive product that we're seeing. We're very upset with what we saw last season. It's very transition, full court dominated. We want to see the half-court basketball return to this Toronto Raptors team. Sergio Scariolo, coaching in Europe, has a much more tactical approach to the offense, which very much contrasts to what Nick Nurse brought to the team in his final season as the head coach. So, Sergio Scariolo, again, this is going off the reports. I'm trying to piece it together the best that I can with all the information that is present. I feel as though he is being strongly considered for the position of head coach for the Toronto Raptors. So let's shift over to another head coach in the position, and this is the Spaniard Jordi Fernandez out of the Sacramento Kings. Right now, he is the associate head coach over there, but also has some great experiences. He was an assistant under Michael Malone with the Denver Nuggets for about 6-7 years, so a great coach to work under, a great mind to work under, and also has experience running his own team. He was the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers as a G League affiliate for a number of years, was also the assistant there for a certain period of time. So he's worked in player development from a G League level. He's worked with a great head coach like Michael Malone at the NBA level and was rewarded recently with the associate head coaching position under Mike Brown's coaching staff with the Sacramento Kings. And we saw how potent that Sacramento Kings offense was this season, particularly in the half court. Like, that was a team who knew how to create offense, create looks, create the best looks for themselves. That's what made that team so special this season. And we've seen Mike Brown in the past as a more defense-minded coach. He's a defensive specialist. He's won a playoff series in the past very proudly with his team averaging less than 90 points per game. He is a defense-first coach for sure. So hiring Jordi Fernandez as his associate head coach to worry about the offensive side of things, it really feels as though the product of the Sacramento Kings' offensive resurgence this season was based on Fernandez's coaching, which would be a breath of fresh air to bring into the Toronto Raptors. There were a lot of reports coming out about him, particularly I'm focused on the one from Mark Stein, who says he is one of the leading candidates in this position. That would give me the sense that perhaps he is the leading candidate for the Toronto Raptors at the moment. And from the great experiences that he has had success when he was with the G League affiliate of the Cavaliers. He had success as a head coach. He's worked under Michael Malone. He's worked under Mike Brown in 2 different stints, and particularly with Mike Brown, we're looking at the Sacramento Kings offense that maybe was orchestrated by he himself. This seems like an excellent candidate for the Raptors to consider for the position as well. So the Raptors head coaching search, seeing as they have gotten it down now to apparently a set group of finalists, it feels as though this announcement on the next head coach is imminent. I feel like, again, Scariolo is involved in those discussions. I feel as though Jordi Fernandez is involved in those discussions. Along with that, my suspicion is that Kenny Atkinson as well is within the set group of finalists here. Kenny Atkinson we spoke about on the channel as well, but here's somebody as well who is very analytically driven, very statistically driven into running an offense, and has done a good job with the Brooklyn Nets in the past as a head coach, has been a great part of the current Golden State Warriors staff. He's an assistant to Steve Kerr. He won the NBA championship last season. He's a very tactical guy. So you really feel as though you know what the Raptors are looking for here. Yes, they're looking for development. Yes, they're looking for culture, but they're also looking for these offensive minds who can bring that tactical X's and O's approach to the team. And to me, I think that's a great way to look at this. To me, I think that's a great way to approach this head coaching search. I just hope as well, along with finding this next head coach, there is still a keen eye on development. And there's still a keen eye on treating this as a bit of a process for this Toronto Raptors team. However, hiring a coach with this offensive mind, it could also mean Masai Ujiri is trying to get the most out of this current group of players. And I would say that is the more likely reason he is going for a head coach like this. There's belief in this current core from the Raptors front office for the better, or potentially, maybe in my opinion, for the worse. But Masai believes in this core. He wants to find a head coach that is going to get the most offensively out of this unit, because there are already so many gifted defensive players in this team. You can find assistants to help in that approach. But the head coach, the top of the coaching staff, he is going to be seemingly a person focused on offense with those names that I listed, and even somebody like Steve Nash as well, one of the best tacticians the NBA has ever seen in the point guard position. That's another mind that maybe Masai Ujiri sees that could lead this team, and maybe why the Raptors front office were reportedly so impressed with his coaching interview. I don't think Steve Nash is as strong of a candidate as people like, let's say, Sergio Scariolo, like people like, let's say, Jordi Fernandez, but I think that all of these guys are in the final discussions as well. Other names potentially creeping in. I just haven't seen anything in regards to Monty Williams being involved, unless they've been extraordinarily tight-lipped on it. Like, I just don't think at this point that's going to happen with him as head coach. He's my number one candidate. I just haven't seen anything. With Jerry Stackhouse, my second favorite candidate, I just haven't seen anything that suggests he's in the final stages of this head coaching search either. But there is very much reason to believe Scariolo and Fernandez are involved, as well as Nash. And I think there's considerable evidence to suggest that Kenny Atkinson is a little bit involved with this entire thing as well. Becky Hammond's another name that we spoke about. Seems like she's completely out of the race and she's completely focused on the Las Vegas Aces. Maybe that was her decision. Maybe that's Raptors' decision. We don't know, but these are the names that I would say you really need to look out for. Fernandez and Scariolo. Some names you need to keep your eye on as well, for sure. Atkinson and Nash. But as far as all this information, I'm always completely transparent about this. I don't have sources. I'm not on the inside. I'm looking at all the information that is also available to you. I cast a wide net in my search for the information. I take all these little bits from different reporters that I deem to be credible based on my experiences in the past in covering the Raptors and covering the NBA on this channel. And I take all those little bits and piece it together and try to get the bigger picture in the situation and present it to you. So information is out there. If you want to look deeper into the story, feel free to do so. But if you did enjoy in the way that I laid it out and you want to see more content just like this, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel, Amateur Hour Sports. Raptors content 3 to 4 times a week in video form. We do shorts. I do live streams 2, 3, 4 times a week as well. So subscribe to the channel. Drop a like if you did enjoy. Hit that notification bell so you know exactly when the content is coming out. I mean, there's like 7 to 10 pieces of content a week here. It's tough to follow, but it's much easier if you hit that bell button. I'll see you guys again next time for another video, and maybe that next video will be covering the Raptors and their decision on the head coach. If not, it'll probably be covering my favorite prospect for the upcoming NBA draft. Stay tuned. I'll see you again next time.